back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. You read the title, we both know why we're here. Today we're going to be talking about your future spouse. So today's reading is going to be completely intuitive. I have 4 minerals that you may choose from, but other than that, I'm going to figure out more about your spouse for you with my 3 decks that I have prepared right here. So today's reading is unprepared, completely live, to help us really find out who this person is. Are they going to be loyal, handsome, beautiful, wealthy, broke as hell, the good and the bad? Because you guys know I'm completely 100% honest here on my channel. I am not going to create a reading just to appease anybody. So if you're just here to hear what you want to hear, you may just be greatly disappointed. But if you're here because you're genuinely interested and open to see what your future spouse is like, then continue watching. So regarding the 4 groups, we have the Coffee Obsidian, we have the Red Jasper, we have the Orchid Calcite, as well as the Orange Calcite. So by all means, pick one of these groups intuitively in order to figure out who your future spouse is. And I just want to put a little disclaimer out there before I get into the video. This is not primarily about looks, okay? Your spouse can go dye their hair purple tomorrow, they can go cut it really short, have some extensions on, put on a wig, you know the tricks. So today's reading is really about who they are as a person. This is not about just physicalities, as I personally, as a reader, do not believe in that having a lot of accuracy. So I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want to waste anybody's time. And speaking about time, it is time to get into the reading. So I'm going to be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Coffee Obsidian. And for all the other groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Coffee Obsidian group number 1. So I want to get straight into your reading about your future spouse. As I already said, this is going to be completely intuitively, so lean back, get yourself a little snack, a little something to drink, and enjoy. So let's figure out what is going on. First and foremost, we have awareness. So your future spouse is definitely somebody who is very much self-aware, who knows exactly how to estimate themselves, so they don't underestimate themselves, they don't overestimate themselves. They're somebody who is pretty stable and also has a very realistic sort of worldview, which can make them a little bit dull. So you may be the one who is more creative in the relationship. You may be the one who is more imaginative. So allow yourself to be okay in that role. I know it can sometimes drive you nuts when you have to acquire a role in a relationship that you never necessarily wanted. But you know, relationships are a give and take. You kind of need to be with somebody who complements you, you know, who isn't just a carbon copy of you. Then let's move further into your reading. We have a ruminate. So one thing that I see here in ruminate is the fact that this person, your future spouse, is somebody who knows a lot about everything and also keeps their memories very, very sacred. Okay, so they're a little bit of like an A-type personality and they will never forget anything. Okay, so if you tell them that something is important to you, they will keep that in mind, and they're just emotionally a very receptive kind of human being. Then we have negativity. So they are completely allergic to negativity, okay? Group number 1, I need to let you know that if you're somebody who likes to gossip, who likes to complain, say goodbye to those days right now, because this person is not going to allow you to do so. This person is here to fire you up, to be the one who is like cheering you on, okay? They're like your personal cheerleader, and they're not here for any negative self-talk, which means that they may also be the one to help you out of a deep and dark situation and get you back into a positive headspace when you most need it. Then we have the Ace of Shells as well as the 4 of Shells. So group number 1, we have shells here. This has a lot to do with the emotional aspect. So this may be an indication that there are water signs involved here in your marriage. I see here that it's very important for you to keep in mind that this person is probably pretty sensitive, okay? Your future spouse is somebody who is a very happy person, as I said, a very positive person. They're allergic to drama, to any sort of negative vibes, but at the same time, they're also the kind of person who needs a lot of time to do soul searching. They need a lot of time to reevaluate their life, their dreams, their aspirations, and when things go wrong, they really retract and need that privacy just to think about things in order to figure out how they want to deal with them. Then we have self-love. So self-love is one of those things that goes really well with the fact that your future spouse is probably this A-type personality. So your future spouse indulges a lot in self-love, which, as I said, may result in them needing a lot of time just to themselves, because they like to work out, they like to eat healthily, they like to read, they like to educate themselves, they like to do things to really create that environment of self-love where they're putting more value into themselves and into their life. Value is something that is very important to them. Value is something that allows them to create memories, that is going to allow them to create a legacy where they can also teach your maybe future children or just people that they come across on their path how to really do something in this world that can create a change, okay? So your future spouse is somebody who sees not only power in numbers, but power in themselves. They're very much someone who believes that one person can make a big change. Then we have wisdom. So this ties in beautifully with the rest of your reading about your future spouse. Group number 1, this person is very wise, probably older than you, and they're someone who needs the truth, okay? They hate lies, they hate people who pretend to be something that they're not, and you may be in the same boat when it comes to that. And in the throat portal, I see here that they will always speak their truth. So group number 1, I want you to be kind of aware of this, especially if you are of a water sign, if that is where this indication is coming from. Us water signs, we can be sensitive AF, okay? We can be so sensitive to the point where you tell us like, oh, your hair looks different today, and we're already crying, okay? That is like a water sign kind of thing. And I want you to know here in the throat portal that they will always speak their mind, and they don't mean it in a bad way. They literally just want to communicate with you in a way that is very clear. You know, they have a very active throat chakra, and they just want to make sure that there is nothing being kept a secret. And you should be grateful and happy for that, because there are a lot of marriages out there where people keep things to themselves, where people lie, where people are more focused on what they can get away with rather than building this lasting relationship. But not with you, group number 1, not your future spouse. For them, it is the most important thing to be honest, upfront, even if it hurts the other person's feeling. They would rather hurt you by telling you the truth than just disappoint you later on with a lie, because the truth always transcends the illusion of a lie. Keep this in mind, group number 1. So if you feel like you're already with your future spouse and sometimes they tell you things straight up that you feel they could have said in a way that was maybe less hurtful, just explain that to them, talk to them, tell them like, hey, I'm a little bit of a sensitive person, so if you could just, you know, tone it down a little bit. And if they just tell you the truth in like a kind way and it still kind of irks you, allow yourself to see another viewpoint. Allow yourself to see that if they didn't care about you, they probably would just lie, or if they didn't respect you, they probably would just lie. So consider yourself lucky as well as be grateful and thankful for this. Then we have the Page of Shells as well as the Two of Feathers. So in the Page of Shells, we have more of this water sign energy here. I see here that they are somebody who is very inspired and likes to follow their intuition. So group number 1, your future spouse may be somebody who is really into spirituality as well. Maybe they like pick a card readings too. Hello, hi, you guys can both watch my channel together. Or they may just be somebody who knows that when their gut feels a certain way, it is best to listen to it, because your gut, your intuition, is usually the one that doesn't lie, usually allows you to really zoom in on what you're trying to hide. And by trying to hide, I mean sometimes they're red flags, but you just don't want to believe it. You just want to continue telling yourself that the situation will be okay, that surely everything will turn out right, but deep down inside you know that there are some things that shouldn't be happening in this situation. And in the Two of Feathers, I want you to know here that your future spouse is somebody who is great at making decisions and pointing you both in the right direction. So if you're somebody who struggles with actually listening to their intuition and struggles with making sure that they actually pay attention to the red flags and act upon avoiding them, know that this person complements you perfectly when it comes to that. This person is very firm when they make a decision. They're very much the kind of person who will not wait to see something bad happen. They will already act beforehand in order to protect you, in order to make sure that you can escape from any sort of negativity that may be creeping up into your marriage or creeping up into your life. So this person is very involved. This person is somebody, as I said, who is mature, maybe older than you, or just like wise beyond their years. And that is one thing that is very valuable and that I hope you will be able to cherish and just appreciate. You know, as I said, they may tell you things that you don't want to hear, but at the end of the day, they love you. They want things to go amazing for you within your life, and that is how you should see it, group number one. So this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you found it insightful. I hope that it gave you a little bit of clarity and more info on your future spouse. Let me know down below what really resonated with you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the red Jasper, group number two, and I want to move straight into your reading about your future spouse. So are you ready for some truth bombs, group number two? Are you ready to hear what this person is really going to be like, or really is like? Then let's get right into it. We have intention. So one thing that I see here is that your future spouse is somebody who puts a lot of value on setting intention. So they probably have some sort of goal board, or they write their goals down. They probably have a really good idea of what they want to accomplish in life, and I want you to do the same. I want you to set this intention. If you have not yet met your future spouse, set the intention of meeting them, and if you feel like you already have, participate with them when it comes to this. Participate in setting goals, participate in setting your intention to have a fruitful as well as successful marriage. Then we have self-love. So self-love is so important to them, and self-love is probably something that you should focus on when it comes to this marriage. I see that you may be spending a lot of time together. So in this marriage, you may end up being at home a lot together. Maybe you both will work from home, or will just somehow constantly be spending time together to the point where maybe there's not enough time for you both to practice self-love or self-care, or to just take time for yourselves. So if you feel like you've sort of been lacking self-love, where you really give yourself time, then make time for it now. You don't actually need to already have them in your life to start practicing this. And furthermore, they're the kind of person who probably also needs a little bit of space sometimes. So don't be afraid when your future spouse just goes into another room, or it needs to go out for a drive to meet friends, or to spend time by themselves, reading, watching TV, playing video games, whatever it is. Know that that is self-care for them. Know that that is self-love. That is a time when they can focus on themselves and just feel like they can relax, if you know what I mean. And then we have awareness. So your future spouse is somebody who is very, very much aware of this world, the issues that are around us, and is probably a humanitarian kind of person. They're probably highly engaged in environmental causes, as well as, like I said, causes that have to do with other human beings that are not living such a comfortable life as a lot of us here in the Western Hemisphere. So I want you to keep in mind that partaking in this is very important. Anyway, how you can already do something to make this world a better place, continue doing so, or start doing so. It can be as simple as the meal you eat, with looking at the carbon footprint, etc., trying to lower that, to actively giving money to charities or just organizations where you know that they can help people, or maybe you can actively partake in a organization if you don't want to spend the money, but you actually want to be there seeing that something is happening. There are so many ways in which you can do something charitable, and I see that this is something that will really connect you with your spouse. They are somebody who's a very charitable person, and who a lot of people look up to because of that, because they have a big heart. They care a lot about not only the marriage and themselves and their family, but they care about people that they've never even met. So this person is very, very, how should I say, this is a person that has so much of an impact and so much of an effect on a lot of different people's lives from a very, very unselfish standpoint. What do you call that in English? You guys know that I usually speak German. Unselfish. You guys get what I mean. Let's not spend too much time looking for this word. Then we have unexpected. We have, is there another? Yeah, we have strength, as well as grateful. So this person is so that has so much gratitude. Okay, so your future spouse is somebody who is so grateful. Your future spouse is somebody who surprises you in very unexpected ways. Okay, there are a lot of things that they are good at. There are a lot of things that they are going to surprise you with, because they just don't seem like the kind of person who would be interested or who would be doing the things that they do in their everyday life, you know, every week, every month. As I said, humanitarian things. It could also be taking care of their ill grandmother, taking care of their neighbor's dog. They are just a very grateful person for life, and there is nothing that they take for granted. Not you, not the marriage, not anybody around you, which can sometimes be really hard because you may almost feel like you have to share them with the entire world. But I want you to know that you can be strong in this situation, and after a while it will not actually require strength. After a while you will start to realize actually how much strength it gives you to be with somebody who is so caring, loving, and giving, and who is just such a light in this world. But I don't want you to feel not as good hearing about this person, because it can be intimidating. So look for the strength in the situation where you can learn from your future spouse instead of being afraid of standing in the shadow or being the one who is just not as impactful as your future spouse. You're going to be a team. They're going to want you to be a part of everything that they do, and it's important for you to feel like you're a part, not to feel like you're an outcast. Then we have the Four of Acorns as well as Temperance. So your future spouse is definitely somebody who is not big on going out or partying. They're probably kind of a little bit introverted when it comes to those things, when it comes to social situations that have to do with, say, alcohol, that has to do with partying. They're more of the kind of person here in the Four of Acorns who likes comfort, who likes to just be with friends and family, like in a community where they can feel relaxed, where they can feel like they can just chill out and they don't need to worry about being cool. They don't need to worry about any sort of social stigmas. They can just be themselves around that group of people. So as I said, parties not really for them. Your future spouse is somebody who likes a Netflix and chill kind of night at home, and who appreciates just being in the company of somebody who they can really talk to, because as I said, they care about what is going on in this world, and there's somebody who's very intelligent, there's somebody who is very smart, and they don't want to have meaningless small talk. They don't want to just talk about what happened last week in the office or the latest fashion trends. That is not them. What is important to them is to try and make a change, as well as just spend quality time talking about things that matter with the people who matter to them. They really, really do not care about their social standpoint whatsoever. Then we have the Ice Queen. So your future spouse is somebody who needs a lot of time for introspection. We already briefly spoke about this, that they might need a little bit of space. So they might enjoy the freedom to just take time to journal, to take time to read. And also they may sometimes be a little bit distant when they're in that mood for self-development, because self-development is so important to your future spouse, to the point where they will tell you, like, look, I need 3 hours to myself. I need this evening, this day completely to do the work on myself or the work on something that I find necessary. So group number 2, don't take this personally. They don't mean it anyway. They literally just need time to recuperate. They need time to reflect on what the next moves are, because they are probably the person of not very many words unless there is really something important to say. So I want you to respect that and to not stress out about it when it occurs. Then in the Guardians, I see here that they are very protective, okay? But I also see a little bit of a defensive side. I see a little bit of shields. So in an argument, your future spouse is somebody who is more of a defensive kind of person, where they can have a hard time seeing what they did wrong. So while they are a big humanitarian, they themselves may have an ego that can sometimes get in the way of things, and that is completely fine. A lot of people suffer from that. A lot of us actually have a hard time admitting when we're wrong, but this especially may be a point of friction between you and your future spouse. But the best way to really handle this is to just give them the right sort of bait, if you will, in order to loosen them up. So by right kind of bait, I mean say the things that you know will really touch them in a spot in their heart where they'll soften up, and you'll be able to talk about things properly. So just give that a little bit of a finessing, kind of fine tune from your side. Then we have the solar portal, as well as the sanctuary. So in the sanctuary, one thing that I see in your future spouse is they are somebody who is strong in their faith. They're somebody who is very big on healing. So health is important to them. Food is important to them. I see a lot of things here coming from the earth. They like to eat things that are very natural. They're very much into organic. They're into having their body function at an optimal rate, because that is the only way that they can be as successful as they want to be. And in the solar portal, I see here that being centered, being like having the power, being balanced is the foundation of your future marriage. So this fine sort of line between balance and imbalance is one that you will maybe struggle with for a little bit, is one where maybe one of you two might manipulate the other one a little bit. And I struggle to say this because I don't want you to feel like it's something bad, group number two, but I mean, we've all done it. Let's be real. We've all sometimes been a little extra sad just to show the other person, like, hey, like, I need more attention, like, I need more of you, I need more time of you. And this is not coming from a malicious standpoint, but it's just coming from a point where if one of you feels neglected or one of you feels misunderstood, there can be like a slight little bit of not manipulation, but exaggeration of your emotions. So that could be turned into something fun. No need to worry about that, group number two. It is just one thing that I wanted to point out to you, because there's a reason why you're here watching this video. And if you already know that that may be a point of friction, then you can already start working on how you would like to respond to those situations, or what you can do in order to avoid things getting out of hand. So group number two, this is a reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful, and that it gave you a little bit more of a clue and a little bit more peace of mind of who your future spouse is going to be. So group number two, wherever you are in this world, I wish you an amazing day or night, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number three, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Orchid Calcite group number three, and I want to get straight into your reading about who your future spouse is. I mean, really, who is this person? Let's figure out what their best and their worst traits really are. We have self-love. So your future spouse is somebody who really is into themselves, who likes to take time to take care of themselves, and you can sometimes take that the wrong way, group number three. But I want you to know that there is a reason why you're here, why you're listening to this reading about your future spouse, and this is to show you already that they don't mean this in any negative way. They don't mean this in any way to hurt you. They're simply the kind of person who likes to sometimes be by themselves and just do things for themselves. This does not make them not love you as much. This does not mean that they don't want to be with you. This just simply means that self-love is something that they like to focus on. Then we have intention. So group number three, your future spouse is very much somebody who does everything with an intention. They never do anything just because. They think things through before they act. So your future spouse is probably somebody who is in the job world, maybe kind of high up in the ranks, somebody who is pretty successful, someone who knows exactly the value of planning as well as the value of taking time to set goals, to do things because there is a reason behind it. You will not catch your future spouse just doing something stupidly or impulsively. And I know I say this in a way like doing something impulsively is negative, which it is not always, but within a relationship, it's enough if just one person is impulsive. Okay, group number three, I'm not trying to call you out, but you get the gist. It is always good to have one person who is the one who is a little bit more sensible, mature, holding the other one back from making choices that they might regret, but at the same time, they need the impulsive person. They need the person who sometimes makes questionable choices in order to keep things lively, in order to make sure that there is creativity flowing, that there are new opportunities being seized, because if you just play it safe, things are going to become boring pretty quickly. So then we have the Three of Acorns as well as the Page of Acorns. So group number three, in the Page of Acorns, I see that they're pretty inexperienced in something here that they have just started. So they have a lot of cool hobbies, but they like to push themselves out of their comfort zone in order to try something completely new. And that is where they are right now. Your future spouse is currently doing something that they are completely new at. So that may be even where you meet them. Maybe you meet them at a golf course, at a dance lesson, Maybe you're going to meet them at a networking event or at a job where they are completely new and sort of like the freshman, if you will. And in the Three of Acorns, I see here that they love to explore, but at the same time, as I said, they like to set intentions, which in the Three of Acorns just ties more into this little foresight thing that they're into. So they like to sort of list the what can go wrong, what can go right. They like to make a little pros and cons list mentally or maybe even physically before they act, which can sometimes make them almost a little bit, not boring for you, but you may like them to be more impulsive. You may like them to be more sort of out there with their emotions, but they can sometimes be a little shy when it comes to that because they don't want to make the wrong decision. So at the end of the day, it's coming from a place where they just care so much that they would rather properly weigh their decisions instead of just making it very hastily and risking something being ruined in the relationship. Then we have the Ice Queen. So your future spouse is somebody who is really into self-analysis. So they look at themselves from a very critical point of view, which can sometimes lead them to be overly critical of themselves. And they are someone who needs a lot of love. So if you're a human being who has a lot of love to give, know that you and your future spouse were just made for each other because you're the one who naturally is really giving of love, and they really need to receive some good TLC. That does not mean that you're not going to get any love back. That simply means that they're the kind of person who is maybe a little bit more needy than other people. They maybe need a little bit more attention. They may like to spend more time with their partner than most other marriages. You know what I mean? They're the kind of person who always wants to do things with you, who always wants to be around you, and who you sometimes need to build up because they can be under so much pressure from their job, from their life in general, that they can sometimes feel like they're not good enough, and they will never show that to the outside world. To the outside world, as I said, if they're the kind of person who is very successful, maybe a CEO, maybe they're an entrepreneur who is doing amazing, they keep this to themselves because they know if they show weakness out there, they might just be canceled. And that is where you are their kind of like niche. You're their kind of place where they can come back to and feel safe and feel like they can actually voice their concerns. Then we have the galactic guidance. So here I see that family is very important to them. I see that it is very much a thing for them to have their own family. They definitely want children. They're definitely the kind of person who wants to be in a long-lasting relationship, a hopefully forever kind of relationship. So they take that commitment very seriously, group number 3. And in choice, I see that they create their choices. So nobody has given your future spouse a thing. Every choice, every opportunity in their life they have created for themselves. Your future spouse is somebody who has worked very hard to get to where they are today, and they know the value in these choices, and they will never take any choices for granted, and they see something joyful in every day of their life. They're somebody who will never say to themselves that life is just crappy just because they've had one crappy day. They'll see it just as that, one crappy incident that they can learn from and that they can grow from. So then we have the 10 of Acorns as well as the High Priestess. So in the 10 of Acorns as well as the Page of Acorns and the 3 of Acorns, we have fiery energy. So within this marriage, there may be a very strong fiery element, okay, a fire sign, but it could also be that this fire sign has to do with the family. So maybe your future spouse and you are going to have fire sign babies, but let's move a little deeper into who they are and not who your babies are. Then in the High Priestess, I see here that there's somebody who is very intuitive. There's somebody who likes to learn from the people who have come before them. So they never think that they already know everything. They're not a know-it-all at all, which ties well into the fact that they're so critical, that they're so self-critical. They always see everything with a little bit of, okay, but maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I need to consult in somebody else. So they most likely are very interested in people's biographies. They're very interested in people who are successful at what they are trying to become successful at. So group number 3, if you see somebody reading an article about Bill Gates or reading a biography, an autobiography by Steve Jobs. I mean, those are just two examples. It could literally be anybody, and that is where they want to venture into. That is your wifey, husband material. That is your spouse material right there, because they're so interested in how to get to that point that they're willing to copy what other people have done that have come prior to them that has made them successful. So they're always willing to learn. Then we have the Queen of Shells as well as the Four of Feathers. So in the Four of Feathers here, I definitely see that this ties in really nicely with the Ice Queen. There's somebody who often needs to just rest, recuperate when they're not at work, because work is so damn stressful, okay? Their professional life is not easy, and it is something where they just need some space sometimes. So they love to travel, they love to go on trips. They love to go on trips where they're just chilling. They're not the kind of person who will want to go on a trip with you to have a complete itinerary planned from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with, you know, like 30-second bathroom breaks. That is not them. They like to take things easily when they're in their personal life, when they're at home, when they're in their sacred space. And in the Queen of Shells, one thing that I want you to know is that your future spouse is very compassionate. There's somebody who's very understanding. There's somebody who is very gentle and who has a lot of feminine energy. So don't think to yourself, if you want your future spouse to be a man, that, oh my God, like this is like horrible. No, we all have feminine as well as masculine energy. We all have, it's kind of like a fluid thing, okay? It's not just like, oh, you're feminine or you're masculine. Like, there are lots of in-betweens, you know what I mean? Just like people are gender fluid. It is not a black and white kind of story with how this impacts their personality. Their feminine side is a very creative side. It is a very nurturing side. It is the side of them that allows them to dream as well as to reinforce you with your dreams and to give you the support that you need to move further, okay? But they will not take the action for you. That is where masculine energy comes into play. So that is when they're very much action-oriented and action-driven, which they are when it comes to their occupation, when it comes to their job, but when it comes to their personal life, when it comes to your marriage, they're the kind of person who is there to give you that emotional support and to show you different points of views to guide you to take the right action that you're supposed to take. So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it gave you a good idea of who your future spouse is going to be. Let me know down in the comment section what really hit home, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my future videos. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Orange Calcite group number 4, and I want to move straight into your reading with this fresh, zesty energy from the Orange Calcite to figure out exactly who your future spouse is. I mean, honestly, they have good sides, they have bad sides, and we're gonna figure it all out today. So let's see what is going on here. We have hidden blessings. So group number 4, I see here that your future spouse is somebody who has a lot of hidden talents. They have a lot of things that they keep behind the scenes. So they're probably not a very outgoing or extroverted person. They're probably somebody who's shy, who keeps to themselves. So if you feel like your future spouse is going to be the one who chats you up somewhere and sweeps you off your feet, probably not group number 4. This person is probably the kind of person that you're maybe going to meet at your workplace or through a friend, where they already have the security of, you know, knowing the environment and then being able to talk to you and being able to be open with you. But once you get to know them, you will all of a sudden start to find out, wow, you speak like 5 languages, you're good at golfing as well as fishing, you have so many different talents and things that you just thrive at. Why didn't you tell me? So that is the kind of person that they are. Then in Listen to Your Body, I want you to know that your future spouse is somebody who is very much into sensuality. They're very much somebody who likes to be physical. And in Listen to Your Body, I want you to know that you will feel when things are right between you and this person, and you will know like, wow, this is the person that I am meant to be with, because your physical chemistry, your sexual chemistry is just going to be crazy, okay? It's going to be like you have never experienced before, and you're just going to mesh very seamlessly. But okay, so moving further into your reading, we have barriers. So in barriers, I want you to know that your future spouse is somebody who has defied the odds. Your future spouse is somebody who will not be stopped by barriers or obstacles. They will always find a way to overcome them. They will always find a way to make things work out. And the same goes for your marriage. If there is any sort of crisis, they're the person who is going to hang on till the last moment to try and fix things. They're probably pretty traditional. They're probably from a family that is pretty traditional, where they think in a manner as in, a marriage is not just broken. You don't just throw it away if something isn't working. You stick around and you try and fix it. You stick around and you try and mend the issue. They are that kind of core value type of person. Then we have the Six of Crystals as well as the Knight of Shells. So in the Six of Crystals, I see here some sort of form of gratitude and cooperation and being able to be with other human beings and just being open to a challenge with other human beings. So they probably work with a large group of people. They're probably very good at being in a group of people, even though they're shy. They're the kind of person who knows exactly how to act in a social setting. They're the kind of person who's very charming. That is one thing that I see in the Knight of Shells. The Knight of Shells is a figure that can get along with basically anybody, but they are shy to talk to people that they are romantically interested in. So as I mentioned to you at the beginning, they're probably more of the shy type, but that is just because they're interested in you. If they're not interested in you, they are outspoken, okay? They are willing to be the first one to chat to you. They're willing to be the one who is leading the conversation, but as soon as they're interested, they kind of retreat a little bit because they don't want to make the wrong impression. Then we have emergence. So in emergence, one thing that I see here is that they can create something out of nothing. So they may be an entrepreneur or work in a business where they can only work with very little means or can only work with very little of something to create something big. So to them, that is not a challenge. Creating and being able to sort of morph something small into something big it's just second nature to them. So they've probably had a childhood where maybe they went without a lot, or they didn't have very many toys, they didn't have very much attention, they didn't have a lot of things that were going for them, and they had to learn to overcome that. They had to learn to be efficient with what they had. They had to learn to make something out of nothing, and that has stuck with them. So they're probably also really good at saving. They're probably maybe even a little stingy, but you can get that out of them. Group number 4. Then we have the Ice Queen. So in the Ice Queen, I see here that, as I said, they're somebody who does a lot of introspection. They can be very shy. They can try and keep to themselves, but at the same time, I want you to know here in the Ice Queen that gives them a lot of strength. Okay, the fact that they're not going to listen to anybody's talk, to anybody's negativity, if negativity comes up, gives them a lot of strength to be that Ice Queen and to not listen to what other people say and still do whatever it is that they feel is necessary to be done. They're kind of unstoppable once they've made up their mind and once something is important to them. Then we have the Seven of Crystals as well as the Seven of Feathers. So 2 times the number 7. The number 7 is one where you still have a little way to go. So your future spouse, group number 4, is not quite at their peak, is not quite at their peak of, success financially, or at their peak of being able to master their mental mindset. So as I said, they're a little bit shy. That is one thing that they're still struggling with and working on. And another thing that I see here is that they still have a lot of opportunity in their job, in their career, to amass more wealth, to amass more success financially. So know here that they have options, and it is so important for them to be driven towards results. And that may be where you come in, group number 4. That may be where you're the kind of person who is telling them, like, look, I think that you should take this option. I think that you should take that option because these are the benefits, and this is how you will get to your peak, to your most successful place quicker. So they will definitely benefit from having somebody in their life to give them a little bit of direction when it comes to that. And in the Seven of Feathers, I see here that they are one who loves to just prepare mentally, but what usually gets them to a point where there are challenges is just the fact that they can sometimes doubt how well they really have prepared themselves. So they may spend like hours and hours and hours preparing for something for their work, preparing for some sort of presentation, or just doing overtime, putting in the extra legwork. But then they may be the type who is too shy to really stand behind it and to be confident and cocky enough to go out there and get what they want. So I want you to know here that yes, while they are very resourceful, while they're the kind of person who can make something out of nothing, they need to be a little bit more proud of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, not being cocky is not a bad thing, but having just a little bit of extra audacity would not harm them whatsoever. Then we have galactic guidance, as well as last but not least, reflective truth. So in galactic guidance, one thing that I see here is that they're very good at cooperating with other people at the workplace. Your future spouse is somebody who is not afraid to ask for assistance if assistance is needed. So there's somebody who doesn't have a big ego whatsoever. There's somebody who does not mind if you're more knowledgeable in a certain field. They're not the kind of person who feels as though they always have to be out there and be like the stronger character and so on and so forth. They really want to make you the star of this relationship. They want to make you the object of desire in this marriage. And in reflective truth, I want you to know here that they're so much into just loving you. They're so much into allowing you to see yourself as the goddess or the god that you really are, as the person that is deserving of love, that is very much lovable, and they completely identify with that in themselves. They really love themselves, even though they can sometimes be a little skeptical, they can sometimes be a little shy to put themselves out there, but they love themselves, and they are trying to completely infect you with that, because they want you to look in the mirror and love yourself just as much as they love themselves. They want you to look in the mirror and be confident and not only be accepting but actually loving. So that is a big thing that your future spouse is going to teach you how to do a lot more of. So if you already feel like you're practicing self-love, or you already feel like you accept yourself, be prepared to feel that on a way deeper level as soon as your future spouse is in your life. Be prepared to learn just how many more facets can be a part of self-love, just how much more you can actually do for yourself with the help of your future spouse. So group number 4, this is a reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful and that it gave you a little bit of peace of mind in regards to your future spouse. If you enjoyed this reading, let me know down below what really hit home, what you really enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my future videos.